President Donald Trump removing obstacles to implementing his immigration executive order by firing the acting Attorney General, Sally Yates, after she refused to support the ban. Dana Benta will serve as the new acting Attorney General until Senator Jeff Sessions is confirmed by the Senate to assume the role of Attorney General. Joining us right now is Deputy Assistant to President Trump, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Dr. Gorka, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be back, Maria.
I think this is the first time we're seeing you since you have this new role. Congratulations.
Thank you kindly. It's very exciting.
What are you doing specifically, Dr. Gorka? Tell us where your focus will be within the administration, and then I want to ask you your thoughts on the travel ban and advancing national security interests.
Well, I'm helping the individuals who are very close to the president, Steve Bannon, Reince Priebus, and Jared Kushner, with long-term strategic initiatives, things such as the cyber threat to the United States and other national security issues.
So a lot of people have been questioning the travel ban because of the list of countries. You've done so much work in terms of the country's security as well as terrorism in particular. Libya, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Sudan, Somalia, Yemen. Okay, people are wondering, where's Saudi Arabia? Where's Pakistan? Where's Afghanistan? How did the president come up with this list?
Well, ironically, especially for all the left-wing media that's so criticizing this executive order, which is meant to protect all Americans, it's based upon an assessment by the last administration, by the Obama administration, that these 7 nations are of greatest priority concern in terms of people coming to the United States. And if you look at the list, it's really just common sense, Maria. We have those states where ISIS established its so-called caliphate. That's Iraq, that's Syria, that's Libya. So that's obvious. And then we have other nations. Remember, Al-Qaeda is still out there. People tend to forget, but Al-Qaeda is still out there, and countries like Somalia and Yemen are hotbeds for Al-Qaeda activity. So it's really based upon a very common sense threat analysis.
So how do you come up with a plan and balance the fact that you want to make sure the borders are safe, but you also want to make sure that you're getting a handle on those lone wolves or those people who are trying to be sympathetic to ISIS living here in America?
Well, the primary tool domestically, so if we're talking about people that are here already or who aren't foreign nationals or coming in on visas, our greatest success has been in the cyber domain. If you look at the people we've arrested in the last 2.5 years since the caliphate was declared by ISIS, there have been 125 arrests in the United States. Of those, almost 50% were uncovered by their activity on the internet by the FBI, things they posted, connections they made. So that's one of our most powerful tools, is reaching out and finding what they're doing and who they're communicating with and what they're saying about the black flag of ISIS, what they're saying about jihad to their buddies on the internet.
Sebastian, it's Dagan McDowell. After 90 days, what happens with the travel ban? Do you fully expect it to disappear for these 7 countries?
Well, the law in the 1950s, the law that actually shapes the immigration framework for the United States, it gives the president the prerogative. It is his decision who we let in, who we don't let in, and what are the standards by which those people are allowed on U.S. soil. So this is his prerogative, and I expect this to be, as it has been stated in the executive order, a review process. So it is his right to increase the number, decrease the number, or what's most important, Dagan, is to adjust what we do. The idea that you can have somebody like the San Bernardino killers come in through the immigration system and federal authorities are not allowed for privacy reasons to look at their social media postings, that's just asinine. So these kinds of measures have to be reviewed and improved.
Yeah. That is crazy.
Dr. Gorka, congratulations. It's Tony Sayegh. Wondering, watching all of the more hysterical reaction to this order, is it abundant to you that we need to remind many of our citizens about the tragic mistakes made in Europe over the last generation with their border and immigration policy, particularly as it relates to migrants and refugees? Because I think if people understood what happened over there and why you have a Brussels and why you have a Paris and why you have these attacks proliferating all over the European continent because of a lack of enforcement and understanding who is coming into their countries, then maybe we would have a more understanding, at least among our policymakers, as to why this is so essential now.
Yeah, Tony, you're absolutely correct. The fact is, if you look at the attacks in Europe, Paris twice, Brussels, Nice, Berlin, there is a nexus to the activities of ISIS. They've said openly, we will use your immigration streams, we will insert jihadis. We know that in at least one of the attacks, an individual who had won refugee status was on a false Syrian passport. These aren't matters of opinion. These are hard, cold facts of national security. So we want to prevent events like Nice, events like Paris happening here in the United States.
Dr. Gorka, it's John Hilsenrath. The majority of terror incidents in the United States since 9/11 have come from homegrown Americans. What are you doing on that front to contain the spread of the Islamic terror problem right here on American soil in ways that have nothing to do with immigration?
Yeah, so let's just look at the facts and figures. If we take the large-scale events that get all the media coverage, the successful attacks, since September the 11th, we have convicted, we have prosecuted about 500, almost 600 individuals in the United States for jihadi terrorist plots. More than half of them were not born in the United States, and almost 36 of them were here on visas, outstayed them, or had some way perverted their right to entry or their access to the United States as foreign nationals. So let's not undermine the importance of this executive order. What we're doing internally, we're continuing to do what our services do best. The FBI, the state, the local authorities have to identify who is radical before they go kinetic, before they go violent. And in this, I have to doff my cap to the NYPD. The NYPD and the measures they put in place to use what is called human intelligence, or HUMINT, is really the key. So cyber with HUMINT, you prevent the attack before it even occurs.
Dr. Gorka, just to be clear, you said we've taken down 500 people who have tried to hurt America, and more than half of them lived outside the United States?
No, more than half of them were not born in the United States.
Okay.
It's a fine distinction.
Thank you so much.
So they may have been living here, but were not born here.
Dr. Gorka, good to see you, sir.
Great. Thank you, Maria.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka at the White House this morning.